Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Real Estate Triangle podcast and radio show. This week we have what I think is an exciting topic. We're going to be discussing the fact that because of the state of the real estate industry, there's an absolute shortage of homes for sale in the DFW area. And so we want to talk about this topic and understanding that this shortage has come about, no doubt, because of our situation and what we are dealing with the pandemic, with the shutdown, with some of these things that are completely not typical of your calendar year real estate market in DFW. And so we want to address some of the things that have caused potential sellers to not list their homes, which is where the shortage of inventory comes from. The shortage of homes for sale is coming from the fact that there's trepidation on the part of sellers in a lot of conditions and situations, their personal and family situations, in our current climate that has caused them fear in listing. And so today we're gonna address some of those fears, and we're gonna address what the real estate industry is doing to alleviate those fears, and really how the world of real estate sales is changing, and what many people are doing in real estate professionals to alleviate those fears for their clients and potential clients. And so today's show, we're going to be talking about that. We've got Kendra from Fair Texas Title and my wife, Liz, owner of the Triangle Group. And so I'm going to bring these ladies in, and let's just get right into it. Kendra, tell us a little bit about your position at Fair Texas Title, and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be on y'all's show today. So I'm with Fair Texas Title. I'm in our Plano office. We actually have two offices for our Plano office, a North Dallas satellite office, as well as the Plano office, one in near Granite Park. And ours is at Frankfort and Preston. So we kind of cover all of Plano, north of 635, North Dallas. But my role is sales executive. So my role is to help bring in the business and to support all the real estate agents and lenders that we have to help grow their business and to hope and maintain a partnership with them so they continue to bring us business, that we become a very valuable partner in their business. So
right.
That's kind of my role.
And you bring up an excellent point, and something that I want to highlight before we move to Liz, and that is the absolute hands down purpose of the Real Estate Triangle is to facilitate relationships between real estate industry professionals, whether it's a painter, plumber, roofer, electrician, agent, lender, title company. We want to foster and grow those relationships for the professionals in the DFW area, because of the fact that real estate, since 2008, had sort of gotten a black eye, and Lennon has spoke about this, that the industry sort of got a black eye, and a lot of agents and a lot of lenders became specifically transactional and not relational. And so we want to treat our clients better, and we want to provide the absolute best for the clients that we serve, and whatever our given discipline is. And we best do that by working with people we like, know, and trust. And so that's the goal of the Real Estate Triangle, period. And so I wanted to highlight that. Thank you for bringing that up. And Liz, tell me a little bit about the Triangle Group, and kind of who you're with, and what we're going to begin to bring into this conversation today.
I'm with the Triangle Group at Keller Williams, and I'm the lead agent, and you do marketing and transact pretty much everything else, business management and all the good hard stuff. We're working on building a team at Keller Williams, and what I'd like to talk about today, and what we're kind of referring to, and for the purposes of this show, we'll call them shadow listings, are, like you said, the people that are a little bit trepidatious about listing during this time, but they have a home that if the perfect opportunity came along, that they would be glad to sell in this market where there's multiple offers and certain price points and all that. That's what I do.
And you bring up an excellent point there, and it's something that I want us to. Now we're gonna jump right into our conversation, and for the sake of today's conversation, we're calling these listings shadow listings, and that is people who would have been for any other reason except for the pandemic, the financial climate, the health concerns, things like that. For any other weren't. If it were any other year, they would be on the market today. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, whether it's health concerns or it's financial concerns, the election, right? We have serious concerns about the state of real estate. And so that's kept a lot of people from listing their homes. And so for the purpose of this conversation today, we're going to refer to those shadow listings. And so we want to shine light on that, so that we can alleviate some of those fears, and those shadow listings can become real listings, because just like you brought up, Liz, this economically, financially, there might not have been a better time in recent memory to sell your home than today. And to roll your potential equity in your home into a new property and a new purchase, that being the shortage of inventory, there are lines of ready, willing, and able buyers that are competing for those listings, and so we see multiple offers. And conversely, when you go to buy your next property in your new home, interest rates have literally never been so low. And it's a great economic time to execute that listing. If it weren't for health concerns, if it weren't for election concerns, if it weren't for these things that our potential clients are facing, very legitimate concerns. And so what I want to do is kind of highlight some of these concerns, and then I'm going to ask you ladies to help me walk the listener through what the real estate industry is doing to curtail that. One of the things being, in traditional real estate, there is a lot of personal interaction, right? The meeting with the potential seller and the real estate agent. The real estate agent being in that home for open houses. Strange general public being in your home for that open house, right? In-person meetings with your lender, in-person meetings with your creditors sometimes. Then the mass gathering at the title company, right? And so, Kendra, I know the title company has specifically, and Fair Texas specifically, has done some things that are a new way of doing things, and frankly, I think will become the new way of doing real estate. And if you kind of highlight some of those and educate us on some of that.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, once this situation hit, once COVID hit, and we had to adapt fast, basically we started with curbside closings. And so literally curbside is where our clients that are signing the paperwork, buyer and seller, are sitting in their car, and we're going out to them, bringing them fresh clipboard, sometimes a brand new clipboard that they just take with them, and a pen and hand sanitizer and a mitt or whatever in a bag, and everything is highlighted where they need to sign the paperwork, which is a little more work than the escrow officer's area. A lot of things are highlighted, and we basically have a sheet that tells them this is what you need to do. I also verbally would tell them exactly how they need to fill it out. It must be filled out in blue ink. And that if they have any questions, to text, email, FaceTime us upstairs so that we can go through it with them. And literally, we're going through it with them over on the phone, like I said, via FaceTime, or then we come back down, get the paperwork, and check it. And if we have to, we will have them sign whatever was missed and get them the copies and go from there. So our curbside, also remote online notary. Some lenders are allowing for remote online notary, which is truly DocuSign in a way for lending. And that's one area that is a little bit behind the rest of us. And it's not their fault. It's just because of all the rules and regulations, and they truly require wet signatures. They don't really like the compute. They don't like and trust anything yet, all of it being DocuSigned. So remote online notary, if the lender allows it, and also mobile notary. So we will send out notaries to someone's home, and we only have a few that we use, that we trust, that we know that they're going out, and that they're taking precautions as well. But we're also doing in-house. We just started back like 2 weeks ago to in-house closings. But we have a sneeze guard in the middle of our closing table. We sanitize the closing room after every closing, and then at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day. And we have a little bag that I just made up 10 more because it's the end of the month. It has a pen, hand sanitizer, and a mint in it. And in that closing room, it's pretty much just going to be the people are closing. If they want their real estate agent in with them, they're allowed to, but we ask that that's it. We request that there's not other family members, that there's not multiple people in there, that it's just very basic. And that if you've been ill, do not come in. So there are a variety of ways that we can close it. Especially depends on the buyer or the seller's comfort level. It's truly, that's what we're gauging on. We're finding out what their comfort level is and what they'd like us to do. But Adam, you mentioned one thing about that this is such a different market. I don't think it's going to slow down this year. We don't think it's going to slow down this year. We don't think it's going to be a normal year. We don't think that the election's going to affect it as much as it did 4 years ago. Because if you were in real estate 4 years ago, it was dead. October was dead. It was really kind of freaky. This time we don't know how much it'll affect it some, but not as much. And so, and we're almost looking at it like this is back to when 2015, 16, when it was a true seller's market, because the inventory is so low. So it is, and there are things that we have that we're able to do, and we can talk about that whenever, if you'd like, that to help you as an agent go towards a neighborhood or an area in the city that you want to farm, and literally just get the whole list of that neighborhood and everything that we can get for you on them, and you go to it, and you basically we can walk you through things we have that we can give you to use as the agent to use, and just some ideas on what you do. I had an agent walk in from Keller Williams DPR yesterday to just that. He has a buyer who is looking for a property. Nothing's for sale in this little niche neighborhood. But he's like, I'm just going to contact everyone, because there's probably somebody in that neighborhood that probably would sell and will sell.
Yeah.
So this is the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly is. And exactly the system that you're talking about is something that Liz is working with right now. And that is because of these shadow listings, right? These sellers who would sell if we could alleviate their fears and concerns and eliminate some of the reasons for not doing it. And one of those being just exactly like you were talking about, we have buyers who are stalking a neighborhood, right? And they saying, if something comes available here, I want to know about it because I'm going to buy it. And so when you take that information to those residents, of that area, someone has it on their mind that they would like to have sold this year. And when you present a buyer, and you can literally have a buyer willing, ready, and able to negotiate via email to make this happen seamlessly. And Liz, tell us a little bit about the system that you're using and how you accomplish that.
Well, at our KW offices, we have multiple offices in our brokerage, and they have put together a buyers list, and it's represented buyers. They've all got agents, and they have put down their wants and needs, really sometimes specifically even to what street they want to live on and how much they want to pay and what square footage. And so if you're farming a neighborhood or really aware of a neighborhood, you kind of know which houses fit that bill. And so we did it this week. We literally went to someone who had had a really rough year with a family member passing away, and they just really weren't wanting to go ahead and continue with their plans of putting it on the market. And we were able to approach this woman and kind of show her everything that we had going on. And there were 4 or 5 that were interested specifically in her kind of floor plan in her neighborhood. And so it really kind of alleviated her fears. She didn't want to get sick. She didn't want anyone in her home. It was a tough time for her. So we were able to really alleviate that. And we did the Matterport 3D imaging so that you could do a literal virtual walkthrough. And we did a virtual listing presentation when we first presented everything. And we didn't actually meet her until she had decided that she wanted to move forward. So you're really able to keep it very touchless for the most part. Of course, it's a personal transaction, so there is going to be some interaction. But I believe I believe there was an appraiser, an inspector, one showing, and a final walkthrough. There were 4 times that someone was in her home, and that's a lot less than in a normal transaction.
Absolutely. And I know that you've actually had situations where buyers even confronted with these conditions. We had a buyer quarantined in Oklahoma, and tell us a little bit about how you were able to actually show her homes.
We put on our grown-up people clothes, and we FaceTimed it like it was a regular open house or showing. And I tripped, so that was fun. But we were able to do it all with FaceTime, and we're standing in closets videoing. Adam climbed up in the attic videoing, and that's how she viewed the home that she bought.
Mm-hmm. And really, I think moving forward with very, very legitimate health concerns that people are becoming aware of. I think some of these practices will just become standard way of doing business. And I, for one, welcome it. It actually allows us to save the client time. And many times, for example, in our discussion for today with these shadow listings, right? There are folks who would at any other time have had their home on the market, but because of COVID, they are actually busier, whether they're a healthcare professional, a first responder, whatever it is in their life that has made their business busier. And they literally don't have the time to invest in leaving their home, packing up the kids and leaving their home for a weekend to host open houses, being able at the drop of a hat to leave for showings for people to come in and see their homes. And so we're actually able to save them time, effort, and energy in this transaction by doing it virtually. We limit the number of times. Liz, I know, has actually had an instance where we went into a seller's home and were able to present that to 3 different buyers in 3 different consecutive FaceTime walkthroughs. And she and I were the only people in their home for 3 families to view the home. And so we were able to schedule that in 1 1-hour block. And, we accomplished what's often accomplished in the joys of working from home.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Speaking of the new way of doing business, right?
Exactly.
And so we were actually able to schedule them and accomplish the same thing that would have been accomplished in an entire day of open house. And so literally we were able to hand that seller back a day of their time that would normally be required to sell a home. So Kendra, you mentioned the tools that Fair Texas is offering and seeking agents to work with to facilitate in some of this information gathering. So tell us a little bit about that.
So we have a variety of things that we're able to offer our agents. Everything from basically just the county taxes to your your buyer guide, your seller guide, to places to go in North Dallas, places to go to eat, this, that. But basically, really, truly, net sheets, everything online. So we can get you onto our dashboard and your own dashboard set up where you're online able to download. And a lot of times I just download it and send it to my agents right now, all the information they need that they need to send virtually, through email to potential clients or to current clients.
Mhm.
And it helps them with their business. But one of the platforms we have is it's a Farm Genie. And what it is that it's a little bit different than, say, REI Source or others that just basically will pull the list. This kind of scores and rates the neighborhood and gives you a lot more information also on the home sellers, and can give you, and there's a variety of things that it will give the agent. And we can get them that information when they, reach out. And when I sit with them or talk with them over the phone, because I'm doing a lot of phone, FaceTime, Zoom, and in person in our office or a coffee shop if someone's, okay with that. Just getting them the information from the Farm Genie so that they can take that information and either, I've got somebody that's going to send out information to a chosen few number of homes that fit the floor plan that this gentleman's looking for, and going to basically specifically a very nice letter basically drop off telling who this, information about I'm a legit agent, I have a legit buyer, and would you be interested in just talking with us?
Mhm.
So, and also what we have is between our print shop fees, which are so low and they're fantastic, and then also another mailing platform that we can get you to mail these out, is mailing postcards out, mailing, any kind of whatever you want to mail out to that area. Because if you've been in this industry long enough, you know that you've got to be first in front of mind and you've got to touch many times. We can also pull some other social media information for you to try to market those people as well. So we have a lot of different things just that assist to get front of mind. I think one of the things you mentioned was the whole, touchless, and the fact that we're all trying to figure out how to be more efficient and effective. And we've had to really change, and we're not really, I don't think I'm working, well, no, I'm working harder. I'm working harder, but it's more efficient and getting, things done, as in what the agents need specifically. Because we've gone through a lot of changes, 2008 or 14, we had a lot of changes. And also in 14, we had so many people that wanted to be realtors. And the last year or two, it's really whittled down just because the change in our market's been so dramatic up and down. As to, it was starting as a buyer's market last year. Now it's truly a seller's market. So it's just a big change. But that's one of the nice things about everything that we have online, is that you're able to take that and just email it out. Or you can come into my office or call me and I'll pull all the hard copies of everything and send it to you. Or you can come by as an agent and come pick it up. And you can go through what we have at either of our two offices, and you can make up your own packets, because that's one of the things we do, is make up some of the own packets. They look a little bit like this. This is just our buyer guide. I don't have that right.
Yep.
Then this is our seller guide, similar, but we've got the buyer and seller guide, as well as just a variety of different of city facts, updated city facts, and the school districts, so that kind of helps you with your buyers. On the selling side, we have a variety of things too. So this depends on what you specifically are looking for. If you do have a listing, or you find someone that does really good, they're going to list their home and they're going to have an open house. We have this, and it's something we put together, and it's literally our safe showing kit. It's literally got everything from booties to masks to hand sanitizers. It even has an open house flip book for them to fill out, and also have signs in acrylic frames that say wear a mask, social distance, and that thanks for not touching anything. So we have ways that if for some reason people have clients that do want to have an open house, but honestly, there's a lot, I think, out there of people that are unsure about how to sell. But when you find them, we're hearing left and right about people that never put their home on the market and the MLS, and they have 2 or 3 people giving offers. And it's because of how you all are handling things. And it's working, and they're getting full asking price. So
Absolutely. And what I'm seeing and what we've talked about in other shows is at the end of the day, the buying public wins. And that's what I want home buyers and sellers to understand is the real estate industry as a whole has kind of had their hand forced on this. And it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful thing for the general buying public because now it's going to be the forefront of everyone's mind, health concerns, right? And it was probably irresponsible some of the ways that we streamed the general public through a seller's home before. And I would dare to say that that will never happen again because of the things that we've learned through this. And so I'm super excited about the how specifically title companies and real estate agents, the one who have frankly been able to hang in the tough stretch, you know, for beginning in April for 4 months, real estate stopped, you know, and no one knew what was going to happen. And in that time, the real professionals and the real folks who are participating in this industry full time and for a living and really taking care of their clientele, they had to adapt on the fly to maintain good business. And so the ones who have adapted, this is truly a case of survival of the fittest. And the ones who will remain in the real estate industry are going to end up being, and again, a shameless plug for the real estate triangle, people that you like, know, and trust. And so your team better be top notch. And you better be working with professionals that you like, know, and trust. We talked about it one time, and there is potentially up to 85 people necessary, 85 real estate industry professionals necessary to complete one real estate transaction. And that goes to your inspector, your lender, the painter that comes in for pre-listing, the carpet cleaner, the cleaning services, the move-out cleaning services, the satellite TV installer who's moving your service from your old home to your new home, the pest control that's necessary to accomplish your pest certificate. The number of professionals that are required for a real estate transaction are absolutely endless. And so you better work with people that you like, know, and trust. And, you know, Liz and I are taking advantage of some of the things that Fair Texas is doing. And it's very comforting to potential clients that we meet at a few literal open houses that we get to do, when they can actually see in print our team of professionals that we like, know, and trust. And Liz, if you would just speak to the fact that your potential clients who have become your clients, what is their reaction to your team?
Oh, wow. They call months and years later because they know that we know the people that they need, whether it's a landscaper or a pool guy. People called us, say, hey, I want to refinance my home. Who are you working with? Who do you like? So it's constant. It becomes a relationship. And the real estate triangle, it really facilitates you making and fostering and nurturing relationships with a lot of different people in your industry that I call people out of there sometimes because I don't know something, because, you know, I don't know everything. But, you know, I call people out of there to get verification for clients all the time.
You know, as a matter of fact, you had a client reach out to you this week wanting to remodel their kitchen and bathroom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we were able to literally go to the real estate triangle and made a list of 3 or 4 of the most active participants in the real estate triangle who we like, know, and trust, and are familiar with their work. And we were able to literally in minutes put together a list of names, phone numbers, emails, websites of the people we like, know, and trust that could handle a bathroom and kitchen remodel.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a gentleman that we met over a year ago. And they know that we are the source of information that they need for everything that's required to own a home. And when we develop those relationships, number one, they become friends, and they become lifetime clients because we're friends and because we are people that they like, know, and trust. There are just really an endless stream of ways that we can take advantage of the new things that we've learned. I'm pretty sure that about 90% of the professional world has become proficient with Zoom and business on top and sweats on the bottom, right? Type of world, because that's what we live in, and that's what we are becoming very, very adept at very, very quickly. And so I'm, again, super excited about the ways that the industry is changing. And I actually was privy to a conversation that you two ladies had the other day. And so I'm going to tell on you a little bit. But I was actually impressed by just the, maybe even folks might consider mundane ways that they can take advantage of the touchless world of real estate, and some of the things that they can do as far as preparation. And Kendra, in that conversation, you brought up this the fact that you have seen clients take very, very good advantage of digital staging. And if you just talk a touch about your experience with that, and I am absolutely in love with what these folks are doing.
So because of wanting a touchless listing or selling their home, you've got agents and home sellers that basically want either their home, say if their home is empty or partially empty, or they don't feel like it looks like it should. There's the digital staging, and you can digitally stage it. Now you have to state you're digitally staging it when you do it. I believe on MLS, and I believe when you do the video of it or you have to state that it is digitally staged. However, it really helps people visualize how a home would look, because when a home's empty, there are a lot of people that really have trouble visualizing how their own things would look in that home. And so it really helps to digitally stage it. But on the other side of that, most of us who've been in real estate have been at some way, form, or time been using some type of virtual show or virtual showing of the home, literally from just the different, you drive by the home and you see a QR code and you put your phone on it. This was happening 5 years ago even, and you pull it up and it would just be a digital, it's a music show of what the home looks like. And literally, usually what that does is it allows for 30 to 40 pictures. And so you're able to get a lot better feel for what the house looks like. And it literally is more virtual. And then what Liz is talking about, it's like Matterport, the 3D. So you couple all that together and people can really get a good idea of what, how a home will look when they go to sell it. But it's, just the virtual, it's amazing, because really it is not that hard to do. And it's not something that is going to hinder an agent. You don't have to have fabulous pictures. You can even do it on your phone. There's even all kinds of apps that have come out that on your phone, if you've got a decent iPhone or a decent Android that takes really good pictures, you can do something to set it up to do that virtual. And I know a lot of the brokers are going to that too, where they've got things in play to help their agents with that. I know Keller Williams has that. I'm assuming probably Ebby, and I'm sure Stevie, Cole Baker does too, that they've got something for their agents, especially because everybody adapted fast. That was what was impressive about what we've gone through. For some reason, real estate adapted really fast. Well, we had to because, that's the only way to be able to not stop the economy in that aspect of buying and selling homes and commercial properties, which of course has kind of halted. But unfortunately, it'll pick back up. But so virtual is where it's at.
You make a couple points that I want to hit on here, and that is one, I've been in real estate investing for almost 25 years, but only real estate sales for the past 4 years. And I did not understand, and I made this mistake early on in real estate investing and flips, that it is very hard for some people to visualize an empty space and visualize how much can actually fit in an empty room. And it's a very difficult thing to accomplish. And the digital staging really, not to mention you can pick your motif and your accessories, and but it helps the potential buyer envision what it would look like with their personal items in
I've seen
room.
I've seen some that also will like the same home. You can choose the contemporary version or the traditional version.
Yeah.
And that's a really smart thing to do as an agent to choose that will, show both, because you never know what someone's decor's like. And it really does. It kind of really assists that in that buyer. But it's amazing how people cannot visualize.
Yes.
I sell homes for a home builder, and I'm good at visualizing spaces and things, but it was amazing how if those walls weren't on, but all you had was a framed home.
Absolutely.
People just can't. So you really have to help them along. You do.
Yeah. Yes. And that's something that comes with experience and education. And many people, their home purchase is a 1 or 2 time experience in life. And so you're not educated and experienced on what this process entails, and what, especially new builds, just like you said, seeing a stud frame house and trying to understand what the square footage it will feel like, and more specifically what it will feel like with your personal items in there, is very, very difficult. And the technology, you and I talked the other day on the phone, and we were talking about the fact that this is not new technology. This is not new to real estate. It's something, because we didn't have to. Many agents didn't know the ability to take advantage of it, how inexpensive and how easy. Just like you said, it's not difficult, and it's knowing the right people. And speaking of that, and then tying that back to what I said earlier, we're really seeing survival of the fittest in the real estate industry. Many agents who had a professional career and they dabbled in real estate part-time, they are no longer agents. And it's the ones who are full-time agents, full-time professionals, that are dedicated to working with their clients, that are surviving. And some of the things that I've noticed and I wanted to highlight today was the fact that there are people also who are educated in the digital world, who are making their services specifically available for real estate. One name that I want to throw out is Rachel Wilson and her sister Nicole. They're actually new members of The Difference, and we'll be having a show on The Difference. And but they have a group, a Facebook network, Marketing Like a Boss, the real estate edition, and their specific intent is to work with agents to understand the digital capabilities that are out there, and for those professionals to make themselves known to a world who is desperately in need of tech savvy professionals who are using this technology to protect everyone's health. And so again, at the end of the day, the buying general public wins in all of this new world. And so Liz, I wanted to ask you some of the things that we discussed and that we've personally been talking about was something as simple as cleaning your home, sanitizing your home, make sure that your home smells good, right?
Yeah.
Simple things like that, but especially the cleaning and the sanitation. And you've actually worked with some ladies that are specifically targeting that. And if you just tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, there's of course, normal cleaning products and there are cleaning crews that do that. But one of my favorite new things, well, I've known about it forever, but it kind of became more important during all of this, is there are some of those fragrance things that actually clean the bacteria out of the air. They were used a long time ago for hospitals to disinfect the air, and now you can have them and they smell like cinnamon and cotton candy and vanilla, and they actually clean the bacteria and all kinds of things out of the air, and it makes it smell pleasant, and I just feel real fresh. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is what's changed some in our business is we've been relying more on technology, not just the really good pictures and not just the drone photography and the 3D Matterport, but putting those together and spending the time and the technology, the time to learn and gain the technology to put those all together and what are really pretty impressive little movies of these homes, so that people can rule them in or rule them out based specifically on the technology, and that's just that helps a lot too. And again, the little things with the cleaning crews, the fragrance things that disinfect the air, that all goes. Those little bitty things go a long way to giving both buyers and sellers a bigger level of comfort with having people in their home and becoming involved with a real estate transaction. You're muted.
Yeah. Again.
Better be careful.
Yeah. Again, some of the advantages of taking advantage of the technologies, the agent's go-to used to be put some cookies in the oven before the open house, so everything smells good. And now we're talking about bacteria eliminating, deodorizers, and again, the general buying public, the Johnny homeowner and Johnny home buyer are winning in this, and we're getting healthier. And so I'm a skosh tired of talking about all the negatives, and wanted us to take time today to talk about all the positives and really help alleviate some of those fears. Another big fear for people, and it's the unknown. We have a good friend who's selling her home after 15 years. And if any of you have owned your home, lived in your home for 15 years, you have a collection. And your collection generally involves things that you don't need. And, and so that immediately becomes fear and trepidation of the move and the move process. And our good friend, James Kern over at Delicate Moving, they have a system set up. You can book online, you can get the free quote. You can absolutely set up to be hands off as far as the seller, for them to come in, pack your home, move your things, unpack, complete concierge services, that if that's what you desire. And just the little things like that, these products and services that are available to people, that again, these are issues that you address 1 or 2 times in your life for a general homeowner. And so having a team that you like, know, and trust, that you can work with to absolutely have an answer for every fear that a buyer or seller would face. That is what today's conversation is about: turning shadow listings into real listings, and bringing those to market in a market that is starving for listings. And again, at the end of the day, we want Johnny home seller to understand that financially, there's probably not a better time in recent memory, certainly, to sell your home, to maximize the investment that you've already put into your home, and to roll that into a new purchase. Many times we're seeing people take equity from their old home, roll it into a new purchase. And with new interest rates, they're actually purchasing their new home and moving into a new home with equity. And that is absolutely unheard of in modern history, in recent history in the real estate industry. And a lot of the things that we're seeing is, um, again, the education that is required, that is due by us to the general buying public, is to educate them on making this time work for them. There are folks who may have thought that they were in a position to sell 2, 3, 5 years from now, that we can mathematically show that now's the best time to capitalize on. Liz and I were privy to a conversation in a show a couple weeks ago, and we talked about how, in 2008 and 2007, it was an absolute buyer's market, and loans were being passed out like candy, and no one knew when that bubble was going to burst until after it does, right? And so there's no such thing as capitalizing on a wave until the wave ends and it's over, And so I tell people all the time, don't bet on real estate futures, because that's the worst gamble that a gambler can make is betting on real estate futures. So Kendra, tell us a little bit about what you have seen as far as, I'm curious,
Okay.
what you've seen as far as reaction of your clients of this idea of coming back to the office, right?
Well,
Are the people
they're
who,
good with it.
okay,
Our agents want us back in the office. The agents are thrilled to have, when we have any event, and we really haven't been able to, but we did a couple of things recently, and those were with Big Brokers book KW for Mega Camp. And the agent, and everyone was very careful with masks and social distancing. It's just that they're very thrilled to be back in the office. They want that human touch, and they want that human interaction. One thing, if you don't mind me touching on, from what you discussed about the market, is I ironically was sitting in a meeting back in February, with my not then owner, but now owner of Fair Texas Title, and he was giving us Faircast, and Brett Fair does an amazing Faircast. And one of the things he kept repeating, and I kept kind of laughing, and and I don't know why, but it just stuck in my head, was he was giving what the Faircast as what we felt in February of 2020, the very beginning, what it was going to do for 2020. And part of it was he kept saying, this is what we think. However, due to unforeseen circumstances or unforeseen happenings, things could change. And his comment on that just stayed in my head, because how dramatically things change so fast. And one thing that we kind of have an edge up right now that we didn't in 2008 is the fact that we know that there's a group of people who have taken forbearance, who are literally, and may not have, and every mortgage company's different. Don't think that just because I took it and I don't owe it for 6 months that they're going to tack it on to the end of my loan. And it's all up to each mortgage company as to how they handle it. It's person by person, loan by loan. Either it's a 3-month, 6-month, tack it on to the end, or it's something where they have to pay all of that up front right then and there at the end of the forbearance. So what we've, kind of are looking at and considering and have a feeling may happen is in the springtime, we may see an increase in foreclosures or pre-foreclosures or short sale. So, and that's another area that as agents and as a title company and what we do, well, a lot of what we try to do for agents is educate, is to try to get people ready for that and how to handle that and how to communicate with, when we figure out that from lists of sellers who were in that category, or not sellers, but pre-sellers in that category, and that how to help them sell their home fast. But where I'm going with that is now's the time to sell, because when you have more foreclosures on the market, that can affect your property value in your neighborhood. So it becomes more of a buyer's market than a seller's market. and it can totally change lending. It can change everything. So it's one of those things where if you're thinking about selling, this isn't the year where we go, oh, it's going to slow down. No buyers are going to buy in October, November, December. They're not going to buy. Well, they are. They are buying, and there are buyers out there. And if you're thinking of selling, I'd sell now. That's just my opinion, but that's
Yep.
an opinion, and that's just an opinion. So,
Well, I happen to hold the same opinion, and that's certainly what I'm preaching to people,
Yeah.
and hoping that they understand is we actually had a seller, a pre-seller, if you will, who Liz did a CMA for their home in January, and it appraised, current market analysis came out at I don't believe $260,000, and so in April, that was 230.
Yeah, around it was about a $15,000-$20,000 increase for sure.
And then we see, and now that's almost a $300,000 home, because of the fact that they happen to be in that sweet spot where there are no homes available. And so we're seeing this spike in list price and potential list price, and that is absolutely not going to be true. As you and I discussed offline, there are investors that I know now who are gearing up to gobble up, potential foreclosures come January, February, March of next year, and those absolutely mathematically affect your potential list price if your neighborhood happens to be full of foreclosures. And so that is a relative known that we know we are going to face because of the data that we're getting from lenders and the loans that are in trouble right now. And so knowing that is coming up, that is in our future in the real estate market, when that will be a buyer's market. And so, again, today is the time to list your home, to maximize on your investment. And so, ladies, I certainly appreciate all the information that we got today. I feel smarter being around two intelligent women like yourself. And
major.
Hey,
yeah, I was going to say something with that.
Anything that I can do to impress the boss and the wife at the same time, I am all for. I am all for.
Good job.
And so I appreciate you guys for joining us today, and I'm excited for our listeners to be able to I hope gobble up some of this information and apply it to their own situation, and hopefully we've done our job in alleviating some of those fears, and let's see some of these shadow listings brought to market. So thank you, ladies. And I'm going to dismiss you for today. I appreciate you so much. And I'm going to ask Lyndon to join me. And we're going to wrap up for today. And Lyndon, what's your thoughts on what these ladies were able to bring to the table today? I can't hear you.
Okay, so here I didn't unmute myself. Two intelligent, experienced ladies that know what's going on in the market. And we have changed, and there's going to be a lot of people that are comfortable with the way we're doing business now, and then there's going to be people that want to go back. So we've got to be versatile when things change. One thing you mentioned just now, Adam, is about how, and I've been reading and studying this a little bit about. We kind of propped up the economy right now. It's not doing bad. We propped up the economy, but there is going to be when the rubber meets the road, there's going to be some people that are really we're going to find out who's hurting. Let me say that. Mm-hmm. And so I think you're absolutely right that, one of the things I do understand is that foreclosures in any neighborhood brings the value down. So if you're in a neighborhood and I hate to say it, but your neighbors are out of work and they're struggling, and you kind of have your thumb on the pulse of what's going on, and you've been considering selling, you're right. It's a time. You better do it now, because just thousands and thousands of dollars are on the line if you wait just a little bit too long. And one thing I would back up with that, when I was in credit repair, one of the quick things I learned, I was working I had a builder as a client. They were sending everybody to me. Well, at the time, this is back, when you could breathe fog on a window and you could get a loan. It was $580 for everybody, but FHA was $580. And so I was really good at calculating based on where a person's credit was and what the averages were, where we could have them score wise, pretty close. I could get pretty close. I wasn't exact. It's not a science. It's a guess. But I had these people to where in another 60 days, there were like 6 clients. They were going to be at around a 580, right? We're going to be close. And they already had a house under contract. It was being built. Well, then I got notice because I was kind of plugged in and tuned in that FHA was changing the minimums to 600.
I think Lyndon froze up on us there, so I'm going to take that and run with it. Exactly. We have to be adaptive on the fly. And Lyndon, I'll give that back to you.
I'm back.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I'm back. All right. So I had an internet glitch. So the people that were holding out because they thought okay, the minimum's 580, but if I wait till I'm 600 or I wait till I'm 620, I'm going to be better off. Well, now all of a sudden, because the guidelines changed, they actually went to 640. People that could have got approved at 580 now couldn't get in the house at all. Mm-hmm. They were 6 months out. So don't wait. Don't wait in the housing market. Don't wait.
No, we never know. Like I said, we never know the end of a bubble, the end of a wave. And real estate, among many things, but real estate is the most cyclical industry in the world. There will always be a high and there will always be a low. And this low is good for your investors because there's a high coming to sell and offload those properties, right?
Right.
And so every market is good for someone. And so we know that today the seller stands in the best position to capitalize on their investment. And so that's the information that we want to relay to those potential sellers is we know it's good today.
Right.
We know for a fact that we have fear and trepidation about what the election holds to the economy, or could care less about anything else. Our discussions about the economy, right? So we know that there's fear and trepidation about that. We know interest rates can't stay this low forever.
Right.
Just like we said, we know that based on lender information, there are a significant number of loans in trouble. We know that there is a wave of foreclosures coming. The check will be due someday on this propped up economy. And so, and when that day comes, we will be telling the same message to buyers that this is the time to buy a home.
Better do it now.
Better do it now. And so we want to be educated in our guesses. You said educate, you said guess, but in reality, it's a very educated guess.
Right.
And so we want to be educated on our guess to, at the end of the day, once again, the public wins.
Yeah.
And the more educated that we are, the more educated our clients are. I want my client to be the smartest person in the room when it comes to making this financial decision. Because for many people, your home purchase is the one or two biggest financial undertakings that you'll ever undergo in your life. And so that's why I really appreciate the difference, getting our shows out there, getting the Real Estate Triangle out there. We're now almost to 3,200 members in the Real Estate Triangle, added 75 in the last 6 days.
Yeah.
Absolutely growing leaps and bounds and growing along with the difference. And it's been an absolute pleasure to work with you. And
same here.
We got big plans in store. So
don't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm excited to start bringing some of those to the public. And I sure appreciate you, buddy.
Appreciate you too, man.
Absolutely.
Love it.
And again, it's a pleasure to do business with people you like, know, and trust.
Absolutely.
All right, my friend. Well, I think we're finished for today.
All right.
Thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
All right.